Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J.
Put your seatbelt on.
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
They've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture? In a world where music transcends boundaries, where rhythm and melody unite the hearts of people, comes a show that celebrates the power of music like never before. Get ready to dive into a sonic journey that will leave you mesmerized and yearning for more. Welcome to the captivating world of Z Vibes. Vibe to it, baby.
Didn't graduate? I guess I blew it.
You couldn't advise him anything. He would just look at you and say, so who do you think you are?
We were just like really spoiled.
And then they just give me the receipt and I'd pay.
The guy walks in one day and then he says that he wants to make a movie.
He was blowing the money.
There was just like this habit that he had where as soon as he got money, it was gone.
I just didn't have the skills or the experience.
This money, I could see it disappear so fast.
Catch exclusive interviews every weekday for candid, exciting, and thought-provoking conversations with your host, Erika Ndoro.
We talk about arts, we can talk about sports, we can even talk about politics, and sometimes we venture into a nice guitaristic play. The one story where you can't get out of your head. So Erika, like where you're sitting, better faces, so personal music.
And I'm sure
they're still saying the same thing now.
Yeah, so Shona kana kuti chindevere kana mumwe mutaure muno muZimbabwe ndiwe iwewe ndiwo rupawo rwako ndicho chidadiso chako.
Catch me, Erika Ndoro, right here on ZTN Prime every single Monday at 7 p.m. whilst we get exclusive.
They call me Racer X, or in this case, Racer J.
Put your seatbelt on.
Captain Wally J's about to take you to boot camp.
It's the riveting science and tech show that keeps you up to date with the hottest gizmos on the block and revealing the illustrious and innovative visionaries in Zimbabwe. So much to see, you'll keep swiping.
This cherry red beauty is the Dairy Auto M7 mini electric car.
They've designed our brute force incubator board.
Look at what we've got here.
Solar powered scarecrow was part of the project that I was supposed to complete.
Catch Swipe every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. on ZTN Prime, DSTV channel 294. Get the picture?
Harare. Tune into the beat.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, your source for news, business, sports, fashion, and more.
Experience the pulse of Harare's culture and lifestyle.
Capitalk 100.4 FM, Harare's top radio station.
Join the conversation with Zimbabwe's top personalities.
Subscribe now for fresh and infotainment content daily.
Capital 100.4 FM, Harare's heartbeat.
Hello and good evening. You are watching Newsplus. It is a Monday, the 24th of November, 2025. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Faith Nyaude. Here's a quick look at stories making the headlines tonight. President Mnangagwa today presided over the takeover of the command of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, where he emphasized discipline within the country's military ranks. Soon after that, the president traveled to Angola, where he will be joining other leaders for the AU-EU summit. As the summer cropping season progresses, police and seed companies have intensified the crackdown on fake seed dealers. And later on in sport, Kaindu has described Dimbare's survival as a miracle. We give you the details later on. Our top story this evening, President Emmerson Mnangagwa has presided over a historic change of command of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, marking a definitive transition in the country's military leadership. Now, outgoing Commander General Philip Valerio Sibanda handed over the reins to General Emmanuel Matatu at a colorful ceremony that was held at Charles Gumbo Barracks in Harare today. Eben Mabunda reports.
Now, the Commander-in-Chief of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, President Emmerson Mnangagwa, presided over the change of command at the Zimbabwe Defense Forces between the outgoing Commander, General V.P. Sibanda, and the incoming Commander, General E. Matatu, at the Charles Gumbo Barracks in Zimbabwe's capital, Harare.
Together with the Chief Witness Officer.
The atmosphere at Charles Gumbo Barracks carried the weight of history as President Mnangagwa, serving as chief witnessing officer, oversaw the formal transfer of command between the two generals. Service chiefs, government officials, and military commanders from across the SADC region, including Angola, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Malawi, South Africa, Zambia, and Tanzania, attended the ceremony, underscoring Zimbabwe's standing within the regional defense fraternity. The ceremony opened with a full parade inspection by outgoing Commander General Philip Valerio Sibanda in what may be his final parade in uniform. With 51 years of service, 7 of them as ZDF commander, General Sibanda stood as a soldier whose life has been defined by duty. The parade then moved into a slow and quick march past, a demonstration of military discipline, command structure, and tradition. In his address, President Mnangagwa reinforced that discipline and loyalty remain pivotal to the execution of the ZDF strategic mandate.
To the officers, men and women of ZDF, I urge you to remain disciplined, to remain loyal, as these qualities are the cornerstones of any military organization.
He also praised General Sibanda for his service and loyalty.
As Commander of Defense Forces, I have worked closely with him for the last 7 years. I want to thank General Sibanda for his service to Zimbabwe in various capacities mentioned.
General Sibanda's service extended well beyond Zimbabwe's borders, having led 2 United Nations peacekeeping missions in Angola and serving 4 years as Force Commander of the SADC Allied Forces in the Democratic Republic of Congo. He urged his successor to build upon the gains made by the Defense Forces.
To you, General Emmanuel Matatu, I wish you all the best as you pick up the baton of leadership of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces from where I have left. I hand over these fine officers, men and women, to you in good order, in the hope that you will work with them to better the Zimbabwe Defense Forces.
The ceremony reached its apex with a symbolic flag exchange signifying the transfer of command authority, honor, and the burden of safeguarding national sovereignty. A signing ceremony, endorsed by the Commander-in-Chief, formally sealed the transition. The President expressed confidence in General Emmanuel Matatu, describing him as a seasoned military leader ready to steer the ZDF into its next phase. In his maiden address, General Matatu paid tribute to his predecessor and outlined his strategic priorities, calling for renewed professionalism and discipline across the ranks of the Zimbabwe National Army and the Air Force of Zimbabwe.
My leadership will be guided by the values we all share, that are loyalty, dedication to duty, respect, selfless service, honor, and integrity.
General Matatu is a veteran military figure with 49 years of service, rising from the liberation struggle to senior command positions including Commander of the Zimbabwe National Army and Chief of Staff. General Matatu takes command of a military in transition, one guided by continuity, renewed strategic focus, and an unwavering commitment to peace and national security. Now, with the seamless change of guard at the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, the military remains committed to protecting the masses and ensuring peace and security is maintained in Zimbabwe and beyond. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I'm Ibn Mabunda, Harare.
Now, soon after presiding over the change of command of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, President Mnangagwa left for Angola, where he will join other leaders for the 7th African Union-European Union Summit. The summit marks 25 years of formal AU-EU cooperation, following the inaugural summit that was held in Egypt in the year 2000. The president, who is accompanied by Foreign Affairs and International Trade Minister Professor Amon Murira, Deputy Chief Secretary in the Office of the President and Cabinet, Mr. George Charamba, and other senior government officials arrived in Luanda this evening. Now, speaking during a closed-door engagement, President Mnangagwa said Zimbabwe remains concerned by trends seeking to weaken multilateralism, bringing to the force the need to strengthen the UN and correct historical imbalances. Now, as we discuss how important this summit is going to be, we have Lazarus Saute, a political analyst, to just help us delve and discuss these matters. Lazarus, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. If you could just start by telling us, what is the importance of this particular summit?
The African Union, European Union Summit is of paramount importance to Zimbabwe because it allows President Emmerson Mnangagwa to amplify his voice, especially when it comes to issues of importance in the global political order. Number one, there are calls to reform financial institutions in the world, and it is the much needed platform for President Emmerson Mnangagwa to have his voice added to such transformations. Zimbabwe and other African countries are suffering due to debt vulnerability in the global economic institution. And by so attending the summit, he is going to take part in discussions that are going to shape issues of multilateral partnerships, especially issues to do with the infrastructural development, poverty alleviation, trade and investment. What Africa, what Zimbabwe needs is even trade. It is not only aid, but trade that is going to lift the lives of ordinary citizens from abject poverty to transformation, and the summit is going to do with such issues.
Now, Lazarus, the summit's theme, allow me to read this, is promoting peace and prosperity through effective multilateralism. What does this speak to, in your view?
So you realize that most African countries are suffering due to various reasons: climate change induced droughts, they are suffering due to violent extremism, issues to do with political disputes. And by so attending the summit, President Emmerson Mnangagwa is going to also amplify his voice as an African leader and demand peace and security, not only in the African continent.
Lazarus, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us those insights. We'll catch up with you as the summit progresses. Now, police, in collaboration with the Zimbabwe Seed Association and the Ministry of Agriculture, have intensified countrywide awareness programs to combat the influx of fake seeds in the market. This follows the arrest of several dealers allegedly manufacturing and distributing fake seed across the country. Let's get the details.
Desperate farmers continue to fall prey to criminals selling counterfeit seed, a scam that threatens crop yields and national food security. Now, authorities say enough is enough. A crackdown is underway, targeting syndicates and traders who are selling counterfeit maize seed. Last week, police in Mashonaland East arrested a businessman and recovered 500 kilograms of fake maize seed. Speaking during a press conference this Monday, police spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati urged farmers to cooperate with the police and assist in the identification of fake seed during this agricultural season.
The police is ready to effect arrests, and I can assure you, we will make arrests, and during the course of the week, we will be publicizing the individuals, the agencies, the hardwares, and the companies who have been arrested since last week. So this is a clear message. No one is spared. Remember, farming has got a lot to contribute towards the safety of Zimbabweans. It's got a lot to contribute towards even peace in the livelihood of Zimbabweans.
The Zimbabwe Seed Association says they have enough seed to meet the requirements for the forthcoming cropping season. As such, farmers have no reason to procure seed from unauthorized dealers. The association says the impact caused by fake seed is enormous.
What is a pity is that when a farmer invests, they invest for 6 months, and somebody gives them something that is not going to give them a yield. It means that that whole year, that farmer is not going to get a yield, which is taking progress away from somebody who has invested genuinely, and they find themselves that they have been given something that is not authentic.
Authorities say the clampdown is meant to ensure farmers plant certified seed as preparations for the summer cropping season gather pace.
The country has a robust regulatory framework aimed at combating counterfeit seed to ensure that farmers are protected. Meanwhile, at the moment, what we are doing in order to eradicate bogus seed sellers, the ministry's seed inspectorate is conducting spot checks.
The sale of fake seed has far-reaching negative effects from financial loss, crop failure, reduced yields, and wasted labor. The impact can extend to food insecurity at the household and national level. Authorities say they have offenders in their crosshairs and they will be brought to book. Talent Gore, ZTN Prime, Harare.
Now, police in Bulawayo are searching for the next of kin of a man who died at a local food outlet on Monday morning while waiting for food that he had purchased. The unidentified man, whose age is yet to be ascertained, reportedly died while sitting on a chair at a local fast food outlet. Employees at the outlet were alerted to the incident by a fellow customer who noticed that the deceased was sitting awkwardly and he was motionless. When our news crew arrived at the scene, detectives from the Criminal Investigations Department, Homicide Division, had reportedly left. The body was still inside the outlet at 9:45 a.m. and was later ferried by police to a local hospital for post-mortem. Now, we spoke to Bulawayo Provincial Police spokesperson, Inspector Numalanga Msebele, earlier.
Police in Bulawayo is investigating a case of sudden death whereby a male adult went into Chicken Inn 8th Avenue, Bulawayo, and ordered some food. He went on to sit down, and one of the customers noticed that his sitting position was not okay. He then alerted the members of the staff at Chicken Inn, who went to investigate and found out that the man had passed on. Police were summoned, went there and attended the scene. We are yet to find out his particulars. We are yet to find out his next of kin. Investigations are going on. I thank you. I'm Inspector Msebele, Bulawayo Police spokesperson.
Now, Zimbabwe is targeting vulnerable and high-risk communities in the rollout of the newly approved HIV prevention drug, lenacapavir, as the country advances its biomedical interventions in the HIV response program. Speaking during a World AIDS press conference held in the capital this afternoon, the National AIDS Council and UNAIDS confirmed that the country, with support from development partners, is in the process of working out modalities with the new prevention drug set to be rolled out next year. This year's World AIDS Day commemorations will be held in Muzingwane District in Matabeleland South Province under the theme, Overcoming Disruption, Transforming the AIDS Response. We give you more in the following report.
Authorities in Zimbabwe have started working on modalities for the rollout of the newly approved HIV prevention drug. This follows approval of the long-acting medicine lenacapavir by the Medicines Control Authority of Zimbabwe. National AIDS Council Chief Executive Officer Dr. Bernard Mazima believes the drug will go a long way in reducing new HIV infections. He is optimistic lenacapavir will provide a viable long-acting alternative to daily oral PrEP, thereby improving adherence and protection for those most vulnerable to HIV infection.
It's not like it's cheap. It's not cheap. So you really want to target those at-risk groups which still have a high prevalence and high incidence, new cases of HIV. An example would be pregnant women, You know, you want pregnant women to, as part of the prevention of mother-to-child transmission. 6 workers, those will be groups which you want to target if you're going to have a national program.
The drug, which is taken twice a year, is said to improve uptake of PrEP and reduce the number of new infections among at high-risk populations. UNAIDS commended the government for its efforts in the HIV fight over the years and has pledged to support the country to ensure that vulnerable communities access the injection.
We have advocated for LEN, which comes in cheaper, but as a national program.
The registration of lenacapavir marks a significant advancement in the country's HIV prevention strategy. Despite the various challenges such as pandemics, economic shocks, dwindling donor funding and climate change, the country has made tremendous strides in its HIV response.
The response to HIV and AIDS pandemic is multi-sectoral, and as we aim to close the tap and finishing the last mile, we are aware of the challenges ahead of us. We need to redefine and reshape the funding landscape. We need to look internally at the domestic resources to fund HIV and AIDS, and in particular, and health programs in general.
Through the use of both biomedical and behavioral interventions, the country's HIV response program has made several gains that has seen people living positive with HIV, living productive lives, while also living longer. The national rollout of the antiretroviral therapy program in 2004 are some of the major biomedical milestones the country has made in its response. The injection has potential to improve adherence and expand prevention options for populations most vulnerable to HIV infection. Reporting for ZTN Prime, I am Miri Ryan Singo.
Now, in a significant pushback against the city of Harare's 2026 proposed budget, residents have made objections to the 2026 budget proposal. The objections, mobilized by the combined Harare Residents Association and Harare Residents Trust, primarily challenged the proposed increases of water from $1.24 US to $2 US for high-density areas, and from $70 to $4.90 for low-density areas. With the submission of at least 30 objections having been tabled, the residents are hoping to trigger Section 219, Section 3 of the Urban Councils Act, which mandates the council to re-evaluate and potentially lower the proposed charges. Now, to get an understanding of the residents' objections, we are joined live by Ruben Akeli, who is the director of the combined Harare Residents Association. Ruben, good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, we understand that you made a submission of 30 objections to the proposed budget. What are the key areas of contention?
The key issues of concern which we have seen from the objections that we have gathered today, which were coming from residents, and also from the information we're getting from the residents, the issues were relating to the increase of water charges from the $24 to $70 in high density areas, and also to $2 in high density areas, and then the other increase in low density areas from $70 to then $4.90. So that increase, we have seen it as an area of concern. The other area of concern was also the issue of fines that are not deterrent. According to the residents, they were saying that the 616 proposed I would say fine for those who pollute water or who pollute water in the sewer reticulation system. The objections were indicating that they are not deterrent. So we need fines that are deterrent, that can stop pollution. And then the other one, which was also critical, was the issue around the council-rented properties, the increase of the to those who are living in council-rented properties in areas such as Mbare hostels, and also even Zvarasekwa and some parts of Mavuku, which are Chijanje and Mfakos.
So now, Ruben, what would you recommend to the council in terms of revising their budget?
Okay, our recommendation is that from the objections that have come from the residents, we recommend residents to post their objections to the townhouse. I think that's the first thing. But also to the proposed budgets, like as we have been always saying, that budget is not pro-poor we call upon the local authority to revisit that budget, because it's not proper. It's also ignoring the economic realities which are being lived by Hararians, especially the water tariff increase is unacceptable.
Well, thank you so much, Ruben, for joining us and for giving us that update. Ruben Akili with the Harare Combined Residents Association. You are watching Newsplus. We'll be back shortly. Stay with us.
Vanoda valisizi itai aye. Vari mi vese itai aye. Vanoda go itai aye. Simuza go rako. Kurumiza. Ndokona kungoti oyo. Valisizi pada moyo. Manya wana maina na baba. Kurumiza. Mbeu kwayo riku valisizi. Airo ene zvifuku toka na tsikitsi. Kana zvirwere ende no kupavest. Apa ndiri kurevesa very honest. Never listen itai aye. Varimi vese itai aye.
Mwaka uno tenga mbeu yako ku Valley Seeds usimudze goho rako. Valley Seeds vauchiki vembeu yechibage yepana nePioneer, Goros, ma-traditional grains nema-vegetable seeds ose anopa goho repamusoro-soro. Valley Seeds, where farming meets the farmer.
Welcome back. You are still watching Newsplus. Thank you so much for staying with us. Now, November is Men's Health Awareness Month, and across the world, it is known as No Shave November. The campaign encourages men to grow their beards as a symbol of solidarity in the fight against prostate cancer. In Zimbabwe, prostate cancer accounts for 11% of more than 7,500 cancer cases reported each year, and health experts say many men are getting help late. Our reporter Tafara Swochiwe has more.
Beards, laughter and brotherhood, but behind the fun, a serious message. November is back, shining a spotlight on men's health, especially prostate cancer. Meet Benjamin Rupapa. For him, the No Shave November is a gesture that raises awareness of prostate cancer, encouraging one another to get tested.
I will not shave my beard. I'm just here to encourage every man to go and get tested for prostate cancer. Just go and get checked. Yes, go and get checked. Murume wese, hande tino testwa. Tuone prostate cancer zvakamira how far. We need every man in Zimbabwe. So let's stand together. Let's go get tested. It doesn't hurt to get tested. It doesn't hurt just to know whether you're okay or not.
But behind this fancy or brilliant look lies a cause more serious. To better understand this, survivors like Nosiso Tevedzai gives the bigger picture. He is a story of early diagnosis that made all the difference. In 2021, what started as a medical checkup led to a life-changing discovery.
Saka that test kokudaro they picked up kuti panga prostate yangu yakanga yari enlarged. So they had to attend the procedure kuti ingaatendwe sei. I didn't know kuti zvinoitika the process, but the doctors vakazonitaura kuti no unofanira kunge uchino atengwa pane procedure inoita kuti vaite unblock the enlarged prostate kuti urine ikwanise kubuda.
His journey to recovery was long, painful and expensive.
I went to hospital and I was charged 4,500 to attend to that. So I weighed my options and I opted with no. It was better to remove since you yanga affected in younger such as spread. And the cost involved was 12,500. That was the money which was required. Again, it was in a private. My government hospitals, waiting list yakanga.
In over 7,500 cancer cases recorded each year in Zimbabwe, the percentage of prostate cancer cases is alarming.
Prostate cancer is very common among men in Zimbabwe, especially black men. And in Zimbabwe, we are recording around 7,500 new cancer cases every year. And out of that, prostate cancer usually contributes 11%. Zimbabwe is also recording around 2,500 cancer deaths every year. And prostate cancer again contributes 11% to that.
The Cancer Association of Zimbabwe's Information Research and Evaluation Officer, Lovemo Makurirofa, says late diagnosis remains the biggest challenge.
One of our major challenges is that a lot of men are coming to the hospitals very late with the prostate cancer that is at stage 3 and stage 4. This is because they are not keen to be screened. So we encourage, as Cancer Association of Zimbabwe, we are encouraging men to be screened before they even show signs and symptoms so that they come for investigations early.
Makurirofa also warns that misinformation, stigma and reliance on unproven remedies are derailing efforts to save lives.
We are talking of exercises that are very important. They reduce your risk of developing cancer in general. We are also talking about diet, and diet is a very important factor. We encourage people to have a healthy diet, which is a diet that is rich in fruits and vegetables mostly, and also our traditional diet.
Nosiso's story is a reminder of the power of early testing and the gaps still facing Zimbabwe's healthcare system. As Movember continues, health authorities hope that awareness will translate into action, encouraging men to speak up, get screened, and take charge of their health. For prostate cancer, early detection isn't just important, it saves lives. Tafaras Buchiwe for ZTN Prime.
Now, another news, beef producers in Masvingo say Zimbabwe's cattle industry can achieve meaningful growth if efforts to strengthen financing are matched with a clear drive toward value addition and improved access to export markets. They know that products such as biltong, canned meats and other processed beef lines should be prioritized to increase earnings. Producers also want the streamlining of export licenses to make it easier for farmers and processors to penetrate regional and international markets.
Of course, vamwe avoitawo masausage but temporal measure. Shungu dzedu ndozokuti shelf life yenyama iyi ikwire. Vamwe vangangogona kuita biltong inoinkrisa zve shelf life yenyama iyi. Then voinkrisa maissues ema-exports. Even vari muprivate sector vana MC kuti tikwire kumitengo yedu inyatsotapirirawo nafama. Titi katikatengesa pamwe tozonzi mune imwe bonus. Then vakwanisawo kuwana ma-export licenses votsvakawo ma-markets vobetserana nehurumende through the CSC system votsvakazve ma-markets ari kunze zvinoreva kuti chinhu chedu chowana mutengo wokupedzisira sezvinongoitawo vana US nana China.
Now, as we start off the last week of the month, we have the weatherman, James Ngoma, joining us live as he gives us an update on what to look forward to in terms of this week's weather. James, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us this evening. Now, James, we are coming from the weekend. What was the outlook like, and what can we expect from today heading into the week?
And thank you very much, Faith, for that question. Looking at the conditions that we had over this weekend, we had a lot of sunshine across much of the country, but the afternoons had a bit of moisture that was drifting in from the west, so areas such as Yomatebele South into the Midlands area had isolated thunder showers. This reached the western parts of the country as well as the eastern by this morning, where we had moisture drifting into parts of Mashonaland provinces, including Harare Metropolitan, where we had those isolated thunder showers as well. So in terms of amounts, they were still very minimal, where we had most of the rainfall being below 15 millimeters. But as we get into the middle of this week, we're expecting these rainfalls to intensify. We're expecting significant falls from Wednesday. This is because of added moisture that is coming in from the southeast through Mozambique and South Africa. This should increase our moisture content across much of the atmosphere. So we expect millimeters above 50 millimeters, especially over the southern parts and along the main watershed. So there'll be considerable falls as we get into Wednesday and Thursday this week.
And now, James, is there anything that we should be on the lookout for example, some hazards? And as always, a word for our farmers?
So in terms of what to watch out for, we are still expecting the afternoon thunder showers across much of the country. This should be coupled with a lot of lightning strikes as well as a bit of hail in some places, and we still expect strong winds. So we still advise the public to secure their homes, secure their roofs, and those that are still planting, this is the adequate time to plant, and the earlier you plant, especially in the early hours of the morning, and this month, more precisely in terms of our time duration, is the best time to plant. So as we move forward, we're expecting considerable rain as we enter the month of December, and it might not be very conducive to get tillage into the farms, as the soil will be very moist and not very conducive for things like your tractors as well as your cattle and other forms of tillage that you might want to venture into.
James, thank you so much for joining us and for giving us the weather update. James Ngoma, Chief Forecaster with the Met Department. Newsplus will be back shortly. Stay with us.
Festive is here, Shah. First Street lights up, and suddenly the vibe is back. It stretches from Harare to Hollywood, even to Old Trafford. Jesse Jiri Festive. All I want this festive season? The stories that keep us hooked. The ngoma, the rhythm, the laughter, the drama, the goals, the world-class entertainment that brightens up the holidays for the whole family. All I want is DSTV.
Now, welcome back. You're still watching Newsplus. Now, look at business news tonight. Deputy Minister of Local Government and Public Works, Engineer Benjamin Kabukira, said the contractors' bill is now at an advanced stage, with the government finalizing consultations to strengthen industry standards and enhance service delivery. He made the remarks at the ZBCA annual conference in Nyanga recently, where the association also launched its academy to build skills and professionalism in the construction sector.
Aspect of the contractors' bill, which we, as the ministry, is drafting, and let me bring it to your attention that the second workshop for this bill is going to be taking place, on the 8th of December this year in Kadoma, and we are expecting from the 9th to the 12th of December. There's going to be a write shop where the Attorney General as well as the guys from the Ministry of Local Government are going to draft the bill. Then on the 17th of this of December, we are going to have a validation workshop. Then from there, as a ministry, we have done our part. Then we submit it to the Attorney General. So that's the updates with respect to how far the bill has moved so far.
Now, Zimbabwe Building Contractors Association President Tinashi Manzungu said the government's infrastructure-led growth strategy has begun to yield tangible benefits for the sector, with increased investments and opportunities across public and private projects. He emphasized that the survival of the industry now depends on how swiftly contractors adapt to the evolving economic and technological landscape.
It's driving investor confidence and economic transformation. I think we all know that sometime last week we actually witnessed the African billionaire Aliko Dangote coming right through to Zimbabwe, Harare, to look into investments that are quite capital in nature. And it speaks to work for us as contractors. You would have not probably arrived to Zimbabwe to do this if the investment environment is not speaking to what they also desire as a business. And what it speaks to, we don't only look at what they put in or what they're looking forward to put in as one company, but now this is now a window to the investors who are international, also regional, to say, oh, so in Zimbabwe this is actually happening. So we look forward to that as the association.
Zimbabwe's currency reforms continue to gain traction as the Reserve Bank's Financial Intelligence Unit steps up action against currency manipulation and illicit financial flows. Government enforcement tightened in 2023 with blacklisting of repeat offenders and rejection of tenders using speculative exchange rates. Confidence has improved since the launch of the gold-backed ZiG last year, supported by growing gold and forex reserves. Investor sentiment is rising, highlighted by Aliko Dangote's $1 billion commitment to Zimbabwe. Now, with the International Monetary Fund and World Bank forecasting 6% growth, the fastest in SADC, authorities say maintaining currency stability remains key to sustaining the recovery. Now, a quick look at some entertainment news. Now, in a look at entertainment, some of Zimbabwe's rising stars, including Bila, Poptane and Jamaster, are set to take the stage in Bulawayo for a festive music event. Dubbed Hippo Fest, the celebration marks the first anniversary of Hippopula. It will feature a lineup of local and regional acts, including Simunye, Butelezwe, DJ Smosh, DJ Sparks, DJ White, DJ Dodo, and DJ Wakanda. The event will be hosted by Teresa Lyon and Mubanga Mumu from Zambia, adding that international touch to those celebrations. Now, a sad day for all reggae lovers. One of the earliest reggae music originators, James Chambers, popularly known as Jimmy Cliff, has died in Kingston, Jamaica at the age of 81 after a bout of pneumonia. The late reggae star's wife, Latifah Chambers, confirmed his death in a statement on Instagram, saying her husband has crossed over due to a seizure followed by pneumonia. Cliff distinguished himself in the late 1960s and 1970s as a multi-instrumentalist, reggae, and as well as a singer and an actor. His notable works include the internationally acclaimed Wonderful World, Beautiful People, and The Harder They Come, which was a soundtrack to a movie of the same name. He also starred in some movies like Cool Runnings and Club Paradise, while producing a string of musical hits, demonstrating his versatility as an artist. This reggae legend also recorded over 30 albums and won 2 Grammys during his decades-long career. And now for some sporting action. Now, it was an incredible weekend for football as Dynamos pulled off the great escape, securing the PSL status for the next season after a goalless draw with FC Platinum at Rufaro. Dynamo's coach Calvin Kaindu refused to celebrate, immediately turning his focus to this weekend's Chibuku Super Cup final, where they are in line for a historic 3-repeat.
There are people who say there is no miracle in football, but what we have witnessed today was that Dynamos to survive. Honestly, it's a miracle. If you look at the points that Dynamos had by the time that we joined them. But one thing that I told the players today, I said, no matter what result that we are going to record today, we still remain in the Premier League. To be honest and just to be frank, the only objective that we had was to survive relegation. These other things we didn't talk about it. Probably the position where we were, I think, like I said earlier on in my earlier sentiments, that for us to survive on the last day, I think is a miracle. If you look at how many points that we had and the point difference, we probably just the next team that was just above us. We have gone unbeaten, but we still remain one of the teams that was subject for relegation on the last day. I think credit goes to the team.
In Bulawayo, Highlanders and Chicken Inn guaranteed their safety after a 1-1 draw at Barber Fields on Sunday. Chicken Inn coach Joey Antipes was relieved to see both Bulawayo sides survive and is looking forward to more derbies next season.
Well, I'm happy, first of all, that we survived. But I'm happier that both teams are still in the Premiership. So at least we'll be able to play again next year and compete again. It was a game that both teams wanted to win, if you saw it. We also went tooth and nail for it, and we wanted to win. Highlanders, the same thing. So very entertaining game for the fans, the last game of the season. So we just have to close up the season knowing that both teams are in the Premiership, and I believe both teams need to do some work.
Now, after helping Highlanders successfully navigate a relegation scare, head coach Peter de Jong says he is committed to the club despite interest from elsewhere. The Dutchman rejoined Bosso in August with the club in relegation zone before leading them to an 11th place finish. He is now looking to rebuild the squad, targeting a top 6 finish next season.
For me, it's so simple. There is a lot of interest in me. That's normal. I won't stay because I love Highlanders, I love the fans. So, I told the club already that I want to stay, and I did my job. Dit is not my team. This is not my players. This was the team van Mr. Kaido. So I did my job, and I'm clear. I love the club, I love the fans, and next season, come my team dan, and then the player top 6.
Still in football, Bikita Minerals, Green Fuel and Yada were all relegated on the final day of the PSL season, joining Kwekwe United, whose relegation was confirmed 2 months ago. Bikita's relegation came after a 1-0 defeat away to Manica Diamonds, who secured their own survival with the 3 points. Enchisumbanji Triangle scored a late equalizer to draw 1-1 with Green Fuel, who have been demoted to the Eastern Region Division 1 League next season. Yada fell a 1-0 defeat away to Simbabora. Now, Scotland were crowned the kings of Zimbabwean football during a very colourful coronation at Ascot Stadium following a 2-1 win over Tel 1 on Saturday. The ceremony was attended by the First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, who was the guest of honour. It's back-to-back titles for Scotland coach Tunderai Ndiraya, who previously won the league with Simbabora last season. He spoke about the achievement and his excitement over Scotland's depth, with young players also shining during the season.
There are people who say there is no miracle in football, but what we have witnessed today was that Dynamos to survive. Honestly, it's a miracle. If you look at the points that Dynamos had by the time that we joined them. But one thing that I told the players today, I said, no matter what result that we are going to record today, we still remain in the Premier League. To be honest and just to be frank, the only objective that we had was to survive relegation. These other things we didn't talk about. Probably the position where we were, I think, like I said earlier on in the earlier sentiments, that for us to survive on the last day, I think it's a miracle. If you look at how many points that we had and the point difference, we probably just the next team that was just above us. We have gone unbeaten, but we still remain one of the teams that was subject for relegation on the last day. I think credit goes to the team.
Apologies for that up sound. That was actually not Ndirai's clip. Now, Tel 1 coach Herbert Maroa praised his team's progress this season to finish 5th in the league with solid teamwork and outstanding individual performances from his players.
But overall, I'm happy with the way we responded after making some substitutions. So far, so good. You can look back. When I took over, the team was on number 17 last season. We ended up on number 10. Then this season we started again. We're on number 5. There's a lot of improvement.
Now, while we're still speaking football, FC Platinum coach Norman Mapeza called time on his decade-long stay at the club after their goalless draw with Dynamos on Sunday. Mapeza joined Pure Platinum Play in 2014, leading them to 3 league titles in 2017, 2018 and 2024. All in all, he took charge of 360 matches during his 10 years with the club. Now, speaking on his exit from the club, Mapeza, who has been linked with newly promoted Hard Rock FC, said he was proud of the legacy he was leaving behind in Shishalani.
When I went to AFC in mid-2014, we had a discussion with the former president, and it was about winning the championship after 3 seasons. So it happened after 3 seasons. That was in 2017. So I think for the first time the trophy went outside Harare. So I think on that it was a record in the country. Then if you look also, what made me more happy is that from 2010, from 2015 until 2025, no team has gone up to 78 points, winning the championship. We did it in 2018. We did it in 2018. Even 2022, we finished with 72 points. And these teams which have been winning the championship, they are failing to reach 70 points. So I think, don't want to praise myself, but I think I left something in China. There is something to talk about this club. There is an identity about this club. So I'm grateful to those people who I worked with, starting from Mr. Mawere. Those people who came after him. I think we had a wonderful time, but like I said, everything comes to an end. I had 10 and a half years of moving up and down, but with the passion I have for football, I didn't mind about it. But like I said, everything one day will come to an end.
Now, Mapeza also reflected on his final season at FC Platinum, in which they endured some tough moments and inconsistent runs of form.
Squad, majority of these guys I knew. They knew all of them. Look at our squad last season. The only player who was part of this squad is guys in Ghana. The rest of those guys, they are all new. So some of them, they are still learning the culture of the club. But look, they did well this season, despite us finishing on the 6th position. I don't think it was one of our best seasons. We had also some problems during the season. We lost the Brian, and to be honest, we failed to replace him. And I think some of these guys, they also got affected psychologically. Then when Tando left, I thought it was going to be a motivation to some of the remaining guys. But still, if you saw what was happening today, it was in that final third where we had some challenges. So whoever's going to come to the club, they need to meet.
And now we take a listen at what Tonderai Ndirai had to say. And now we take a listen at what Tonderai Ndirai had to say about his team Scotland's win over the weekend.
When we won last year at Simbabora, I think we lost the last two games. We won it with 2 games to spare, but then we lost 2 games. So we wanted to make sure that won't be repeated this year. And I'm happy that the boys listened. We played this game without pressure, and you saw what happened. Scored 2 quick goals. Happy for young Taliwa Chakuchichi. I'm so excited. You know, the team played with at ease, without pressure, and we got a result. I wish we could play all the games without pressure. The future is bright for Scotland Football Club. 17-year-olds, 16-year-old Chakuchichi. I mean, what else can you ask for? What more can? I'm so excited for the youngsters. They didn't just play; they played very well, which is very good. I mean, those are kids. You saw the way Chakuchichi ran through all the defenders there and scored that wonder goal. The future is bright for. So we are not just winning titles with experienced players. We are also grooming youngsters as a team. And maybe.
With that, we call it an evening. That's all we had for you on Newsplus. Good evening and enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Quem cultiva a semente do amor segue em frente, não se apavora. Se na vida encontrar de sabor, vai saber esperar a sua hora. Às vezes a felicidade demora a chegar. Aí é que a gente não pode deixar de sonhar. Na vida é preciso aprender, se colhe